Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for that welcome. I see my students, Cordelia, my other colleagues in the library field. I acknowledge Martha Preddy, the chief librarian, the chief university librarian at UTT, Avril Belfont, Nazarene College. I can't remember your name, but again, people who have interacted with, oh gosh, more in a supervisory role, but certainly not Martha, but the students, the people who had been students. I know several faces. I'm happy to see Helen and Mrs. Charles Harris, people from IKEA and people from my various other walks of life. So I'm really happy to be here. I'm missing my friend Judy Wilby and Dr. Paul because we had wonderful times on IKEA executive. And I really want to congratulate and thank Giselle for, I'm sure this was your idea to have this lecture series, or yes. So I really want to congratulate Giselle for initiating this idea. I think it is a wonderful idea, Martha. We need to do something in our various organizations. Because when I got the email with the request, I said, but you know, this is a great idea. We should really be doing more of this. So I really thank Giselle for the foresight and for inviting me to be the first, for this inaugural lecture. It's really good that we can do this as a profession. So I am happy to see the students who are here, the current students, right? I know one face. You came to UE Library for internship. Yes, I remember your face. I don't remember names, but at least I remember the faces. So thank you all for coming to hear me. Right? Now, you could click. Right. Over the last 15 years of my employment at UWI, I've worked with the university administration, members of faculty at all levels, and with students. First as the faculty liaison librarian for the social sciences, and then in a more administrative capacity as the deputy campus librarian for 8 years, and now as the campus librarian for the past 5 years. But I wear two hats. I also have strategic oversight of libraries on all 4 UWI campuses, the 3 physical campuses, as well as the new open campus, which is distance teaching in the various islands. At the St. Augustine campus, I have more direct administrative responsibility for the Alma Jordan Library and the Medical Sciences Library. I also facilitate to varying degrees the integration and development of the other libraries of the UWI network listed there, including all of these here, the School of Education, IIR, but we only have at this point in time administrative responsibility. Well, in fact, the medical library and the main library, the Alma Jordan Library, function as one staff. The other libraries are administratively out of our reach, but as campus librarian, I have to do the performance management for the professional staff. The professional staff attend all of our professional staff meetings, so they participate and are in essence a part of the library, but administratively we are not responsible, right? So it's a little complicated when you have to do the performance review, because you have to wait for the director of that unit to bring the information, to fill out the forms, and then we have to do it. And also we also have to deal with the promotion. So sometimes it could get a little difficult if you really don't know the person. So that's why we encourage them to attend. Now, because of this regional responsibility as well as that one, I am in this unique place charged with a responsibility which is sometimes overwhelming in developing and sustaining partnerships that would ensure that the library is an active and equal partner in the life of the university. Right? Now, as you're all aware, higher education has undergone and continues to undergo substantial changes, UE being no exception. The UE has experienced significant expansion in enrollment of both undergraduate and postgrad students. We now have, well, across the region, 44,000 students. In St. Augustine alone, we have 19,000 students, which includes postgrad as well as part-time and evening. But 19,000 is a whole lot of students to provide information support for. The university is growing. We have a proliferation of undergraduate and professional programs as we have to respond to the national and regional changes and the changing needs and the student demands. One example is that science and the Faculty of Science and Agriculture has now been divided into two faculties. So one is called Science and Technology, and the other one is called Food and Agriculture. So as the society changes, the university is required to respond to what is happening in the society. So we have new course offerings, and you have to just really move with the times, and you're not getting any extra money. So there's a demand for flexible online services by the non-campus territories and locally as well. And then, of course, all of this reduce funding. Now, despite these changes and challenges, the core vision of the UWI, like all other tertiary education institutions, remains the same. That is to provide students with formal learning opportunities and to enable them to become independent learners and lifelong learners. Okay. In October 2012, the Association of College and Research Libraries. Students, have you heard of the Association of College and Research Libraries? Okay, it's a sub-unit of the American Library Association. Yeah? Cordelia, go to the top of the class. Yes, it is a sub of the American Library Association. And in 2012, in October, the Board of Directors issued a revision of the joint statement on faculty status of college and university librarians. Now, this statement recognizes that the library performs a unique and indispensable function in the education process, since it is the primary route through which students and faculty get access to the world of information. So librarians, therefore, have a major role to play in the learning process. Library resources, the statement also recognizes that library resources should be taken into account when decisions are being made about the curriculum. The statement also recognizes that librarians should be directly involved in collection development, and that librarians have a major role to play in the teaching of information skills, and that we must play a role in the governance of the college and the university. Librarians also are charged with developing scholarship in the area. Right? You just don't come to work and run the library. In a college or university, the librarian is seen as a member of faculty, is a member of the academic staff, and therefore we have a responsibility to add to the literature about librarianship in the Caribbean, especially us here in the Caribbean. Nobody writes about us. We have to do the research and write about us. So that is one of the responsibilities of the academic librarian. The librarian who functions in this kind of, so Giselle has to write, and no, right. Yeah, so we have that responsibility. Plus, at UWI, and I presume in other academic institutions, I don't know what it is here, if you don't publish, you perish. I'm sure you have heard the statement. Yes. Now, librarian-faculty partnership is essentially collaboration based on shared joint interests and goals. Librarians and teaching faculty have many mutual goals and concerns. We all want the students to develop a greater understanding of and respect for literature, whether it is online or in print. We want students to become familiar with mechanisms for recognizing and acknowledging intellectual property. We don't want students to plagiarize. We want to create self-directed lifelong learners through information literacy, and we want you to develop critical thinking skills, right? Those are the goals of lecturers as well as the librarians. And most importantly, we want to improve teaching with the purpose of facilitating greater student learning. So the resources must be there. So this collaboration between faculty and librarian is therefore essential in enhancing student learning and research and helping students to develop the relevant competencies for life and for work. Okay. Right. So my question is, can UWI, UTT, COSTAATT, can we in the Caribbean meet the criteria as defined in the ACRL statement of October 2012? So I will tell you a little bit about UWI. UWI libraries have always had the active support of university administration. Whether they have money or not, they say they are supporting, right? The Chancellor of the university recently described the libraries as the intellectual hub of the university. His view has been shaped by decades of partnership between successive university librarians and their dedicated teams of librarians and support staff. Concerted efforts are made at improving efficiency, achieving economies of scale while embracing the technological revolution. And those efforts have helped to build credibility and allowed for meaningful development closely aligned to the goals of the university and its expanding curriculum and ever-increasing student population, of course. I mean, I was so shocked driving in here to see, it's like a beehive, the amount of students, and everybody wants to learn something now. And, all these institutions, it's really good that there are so many and everybody now has an opportunity to study. So the library's core function has always been to support teaching, learning, and research. We are challenged with playing our part in developing the key attributes of the distinctive UWI graduate. as articulated in our 2007 to 2012 strategic plan, and then reiterated, in fact, made more central in this plan for 2012 to 2017. And that has been so because there was a study done in Trinidad and Tobago with some of the employers who have recognized that UWI graduates, you come out with a degree, yes, but you have not embraced the creative thinking skills. People come first-class honors, they say, but they cannot translate it into the world of work. So the strategic plan for this period is seeking to, yes, add all of these courses and so on and make the offerings more relevant, but a key thing is that you want a graduate, you want someone who can respond to whatever changes that are taking place. And a few months ago, just actually during the whole strategic planning exercise, there was a session at the Hilton Hotel where they invited stakeholders from BP, all the large employers, and there was this discussion on how the UWI graduates respond, and it doesn't sound good. You know, I mean, many people, yes, they have the paper, but not the practical. So creating that distinctive UWI graduate is linked to what we do in the library. We have to develop, we have to share our information skills, we have to show them how to assimilate and assess information, and all of this has to be done while grappling with the expansion of the enrollment and the no money, right? That, I think that has to stay focused, the no money. So we've had the university libraries, we've had to respond, making a transformation into a hybrid unified entity that utilizes the available technology and developing partnerships, even within, yes, within the university, but developing consortia as well, sharing. And we have a little pilot going with UTT right now, where we have EBSCO, some one of those databases that we are sharing costs with EBSCO, yeah, with UTT. Now, right. Now this partnership really can only happen, you have to have the structure as well for the partnership. You don't just wake up one morning and say you want to partner, right? The structure has to be in place in order to develop these partnerships. And over time, the UWI libraries, we have built an administrative structure that would facilitate partnerships. There has been the development of specialized libraries that cater to the particular needs of a faculty. So we have a social sciences section. Social sciences, I told you just now about science and agriculture and so on. So it's not just one big library. You have specialized libraries within the university. So the fourth floor is social sciences, the third floor is humanities and education. The second floor, well, it was science and agriculture, so now it's two. We still have one librarian. This morning, yesterday, we had the campus council meeting, and the dean of one of the faculties said to me, oh, I sent some courses for evaluation, and he hasn't got them back as yet. But guess what? They sent 37 courses, new courses for evaluation in the last 2-3 weeks, and it's one librarian dealing with it. So it's just happening. So we have developed those specialized libraries. For each of these libraries, we have faculty liaison librarians, and they attend the faculty board of management, right? No, go back. I'll just speak to it, yes. The faculty liaison librarians attend the faculty board meetings, and their primary role is to work with the academic staff to ensure that the library is meeting their changing teaching and research needs. The faculty liaison librarians provide feedback into the library planning process, and so come back and say this is what is needed and this is what has to be done. The faculty liaison librarians are the drivers of collection development in support of the curriculum. Right? Now the professional programs are at UWI have to be accredited by international external agencies, and they undertake independent assessments of the library's resources. So it's not just about, yes, UWI has a distinctive graduate, but the programs that are offered have to be recognized internationally. And so part of the whole exercise is that they come to the library to do an assessment of the resources that we have. So the librarians play a very important role in this aspect of the university's operations. And then the faculty liaison librarian advises on library procedures and resolves difficulties that students and the lecturers may have in using services and resources. And most importantly, to promote information literacy. So the liaison librarians assist in developing, working with the academic staff on library-related course development and delivery, and assist students in making effective use of the library resources. Now, they also provide academic staff with advice accordingly as necessary. Back again. Right. Now, the library committee. The University of the West Indies has used for many years a library committee. The library committee is made up of representatives from each faculty and the campus librarian. The library committee meets approximately once a month. Students, the representatives from the Student Guild also sit on the library committee. And the Alumni Association, because they have a vested interest. Because remember, I was saying that the stakeholders are not happy with what is happening. So this library committee also has a representative from the Alumni Association, from the current Student Guild, a representative from each faculty, a lecturer from each faculty, as well as the campus librarian. Right? So this library committee is plays an important role again in, we get suggestions and advice from the members of the library committee. Now, at the university and campus management level, it is also very important. The librarians have a key role. Now, I told you I wear two hats, campus librarian as well as university librarian. The university librarian sits on the executive management committee of UWI and attends meetings of the University Council, University Finance and General Purposes Committee, right? And therefore has an opportunity to contribute at the highest decision-making level of the UWI. It is a very strategic position in that I've also in recent times been able to convince them to do different things. One of the things that we were able to achieve very recently is that the vendors, the online vendors, who charge a lot of money, they don't see UWI easily as one institution. So Mona is charged one set of money, Cave Hill, St. Augustine, and the open campus. But there's a lot of duplication, and you're paying big money for the same journals almost. So one of the most expensive vendors, Elsevier, right? But I had to get the decision taken at that broad level first to say, well, okay, the libraries, we have gone through the process of eliminating duplicates, and then we went to Elsevier and say, bill us as one university, right? But they still insist that they have to bill separately, right? Because, so what we did is that Mona pays for some journals, Cave Hill pays for some, we pay for some, and everybody has access, right? So what we've had to do, what we did was ask the university boozer to pay up front, because since we are operating as one, if Mona didn't pay their money, we would all lose access, right? So if the university booster pays up front, whether Cave Hill, St. Augustine, or Mona has no money, then we would all still have access, right? But it is, you know, to try to convince the vendors that it is one university is something else, right? And then even just to deal with UTT, which is in Trinidad and Tobago now, that was another story, right? But we have people who talk to them really nicely. I don't have the patience. Right, so the university librarian at that level represents the interests of libraries and speaks on behalf of the campus librarians. Also at the regional board for undergraduate studies and the board for graduate studies. At each campus, the campus librarians, the members of the executive team of the campus, and attend meetings of the academic board. The campus librarian or representative is also a member of the Academic Quality Assurance Committee, also the campus IT committee, right? And then there is a university IT committee that the university librarian is a part of. So it's very strategic, right, that we have these partnerships at the highest level, and UWI finally, because it took a lot of doing, recognizes that the libraries are that important. Yes, they recognize us, you know, but we did not have a voice in every area, but now we do. So the active participation of librarians in the management of the university speaks to the direct relationship that we strive for to give the best to the students. Right. Now, the information base, if you go back to the first thing that the standards from the ECRL, your resource base is very important in the development of the partnerships, right? So what we have done, we have also created a union catalog. Students, you know what a union catalog is? Right. A union catalog is where all the resources of every campus, you can find it centrally somewhere. And the technology has really assisted that. And what we have now is UWI-Link, which is that if you do a search, you can see what is at Cave Hill and Mona and Open Campus at the same time. The journals that we share once you have your student ID or your faculty ID, you can log in and read the journals, right? So it's very important to have that link, right? So the UWE-Link platform connects us to all of the students. I said 44,000, but it's 47,000 students across the campuses, 5,800 staff, and of those, 1,800 are academic, right? And this single virtual library space, as we call it, provides 24/7 regional access. So you could be in Australia on vacation, use your ID number, and you can still check the resources. And well, we still have print collections, and we have created an institutional repository which serves as an archiving facility for the research output of the university, and the library is driving that, right? We are driving this move to open access. Now, these resources are essential to the successful delivery of the curriculum in any college or any university, because you could have the curriculum but you have nothing to read. Yeah? So the library must work with the faculty and the administration in finding access to these resources. Now, collection development is another area that we have to play an important part in. The library is required to maintain a collection of prescribed texts required for all courses delivered in an academic year. These texts are kept in the library's reserve collection and circulate for very short periods. We also have a general reading collection. Now with the e-format, we also order a lot of these texts in e-format. And the book list must be sent to the library by March 31st of the preceding year. And of course, the deadlines are not always kept, but we, lecturers, who are they in here? The deadlines are not always kept, so you're frustrating, Giselle. All right, but it's really important, and then the students complain we're not getting the books, but the fault lies with the lecturers who have to. No, it's true. No, it's really important because there's a time lag in the ordering and so on, and then when it's late, you have to do rush orders, and remember, we have no money, so we have to conserve, right? So this is a little plug for the library, because the lecturers don't get the buff, it's the library staff get the buff from the students, right? So that is another area that we partner with the lecturers, and this is really begging the lecturers now to partner with us in this area. Right? So we work as closely as we can with the faculty liaison librarians, because they go to the faculty board meetings. So all around, it's a little unit. The faculty liaison librarians must prevail upon them in the faculty board meetings. Please meet our deadlines so that we can do our work and that the students can be satisfied. And then it's mutually beneficial to everybody, being the theme of the talk today. Now, information literacy has really become very important with the advent of the technology. Really, really. When in previous times, a new student comes, you show the student the catalog, and it's easy to find by author, and they just go to the shelf, right? That's what we had, books and journals. But now it's so much. So it has become a really major area of the work of libraries, because students feel that, oh, it's all on the internet. But it's not. It's all easily accessible if you know what you're looking for and how to find it. And the librarians have to work with the lecturers to advise the students that they should come to the information literacy sessions, or to embed information literacy in your lectures so that you invite the librarian to come to your class to teach the skills. So that's a really very important rule. Now, did you change? Right, this is, I just did that, right. And the next one, information literacy. So we also do, for the postgraduate students, we do the citation, we train them in the use of the various types of citations. We tell them about plagiarism. We do the thesis checking, because the thesis must be cleared by the library. Even though you've finished, it must be done in the format that we want. So we are an integral part of that postgraduate experience as well. Now, the information literacy in the medical sciences library, where Ms. Preddy used to work, the medical students use problem-based learning, which in a sense has been the forerunner of the information literacy as we know it, because the medical sciences field requires that students, doctors, stay in the learning mode all the time, and they have to drive their own learning, so that the librarians of the medical sciences library work very closely with the students who have to learn in the problem-based learning environment. So we are challenged to facilitate in a variety of ways. Okay, I'm almost to the end, right? And finally, the research. I think I said some of that a little earlier. We have to partner in the research. The university is driving research and innovation. The lecturers, there's some groundbreaking research being done. Up to yesterday in the campus council meeting, they were talking about the research on scorpions and pepper and cocoa. And we are the ones who have to find that information and provide it for the researchers. At the same time, we also have to be versed in research methods, so that you cannot, a library or university should not employ unqualified people, right? Because the librarians have to be trained, the library support staff have to be trained, right? And I know COSTAATT is doing a lot of that work. So you have to ensure that you prepare the library staff so that they can, in turn, provide the support to the other students. The librarians at UWI have academic status, so just like the lecturers, as I said, we have to publish, we have to do research. So there's another way that we partner. In some instances, the librarians and the lecturers partner to produce papers and so on. So, oh, that's where you are. Right, so go just next one, research. One before. One, yeah. Right, so there I'm saying that the close relationship with members of faculty that facilitates cross-functional research, and that has resulted in the publication of books and journals. And we also have participated in consultancies which bring funds into the university. Right. So, next one. Right, we also partnered with the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning. That's the Instructional Development Unit. So right now, with assistance from them, we are developing an online literacy training module which would be used across the region, because we have so many students also out in the region. They don't have the benefit of coming into the library to ask a question. So we are in the process of developing an online literacy module. So I'm going to end here, because that is where we are, the conclusion. Right, the partnerships would result in meaningful collection and development. We partner to develop the information literate lifelong learner and information provision through our participation in the governance. We are part of that whole institutional information strategy. So I thank you for inviting me.